friends, how are you? I'm Michelle, and this is my channel, Penny's Daughter Shares, where I talk primarily about cross stitch, and I think that's primarily what I'll be talking about today. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you like what you see and have a good time for a little while. And if you do, please like the video and subscribe down below. You can also tap the bell to get reminders when I upload a new video. If you are a returning friend, thank you so much for coming back. I have fun doing these, and I really like to hear from you that you have fun watching them, so thank you so much. I'm going to start today with a little bit of life update, let's call it a question to start. Does anyone else feel like May is absolute mayhem? It's like this every year for me, and you would think I would know what to expect and to just go with the flow, and it still feels a bit crazy. This year is a little different than usual years. So usual years is we're in the last home stretch of the school year. And so you have choir concerts and extra projects and market day at school and parties and everything. All of it going on. Now here in Michigan, generally, most of us in Michigan are done with school about after the first week of June. So I know there's many of you in the US that your last days have coincide with the week of Memorial Day, or the week before Memorial Day, I should say. So congratulations to those of you that are watching, that you're through the school year and you're done. Yay! We have 9 more wake-ups at our house. We're not counting down or anything, though. I mean, obviously. But anyway, so it's just sort of craziness and with schedule and just everything that's going on. And I'm not real good with craziness. I want a set schedule, a regular schedule, and I need like a large amount of calm and downtime, I think is a good way to put it. So yes, I'm a true introvert because that's how I recharge, not being social. That's not how I recharge. General school craziness. We also have a birthday in our house in May, which is Justice, and he turned 14 this year. Why does 14 sound so much older than 13? I'm not sure why that is, but that's how I'm feeling right now. So it's not that he can't be 14, it's just that it sounds so much older than 13. I don't know, it's crazy. So anyway, had a good birthday. Oh, and then had a good Mother's Day. I'll talk a little more about that later on. But it was, we do kind of low-key quiet for Mother's Day. So anyway, crazy. And I asked you if you also face the crazy. So those are all every year, ordinary crazy for us in May. Now let's add to that the fact that my house is in a perpetual state of construction. And I was chatting with a friend the other day and saying, this is what my life has felt like it's been. Construction, delivery, noise, in capital letters, by the way. Noise! There's mess. There's people in my house. Refer back to when I mentioned I'm an introvert? Yes. So it's just this ongoing everything. We are making progress, but to be honest, when these projects started back in, I want to say November, but it might have been October. I thought for sure we'd be done by now, and I don't know when it's getting done. And Jeff has given up trying to tell us. So fingers are crossed that everything will be done during the summer and we can put our house all back together. What we did was started out with a 3 Seasons room that's been constructed off the back of our house. So we also have a deck for the grill, and that's fairly small. And then I wanted an enclosed deck, if that's a good way to put it, with windows. I don't like bugs, but I want to sit out and enjoy the air. So it's all windows, and we're treating it like, let's see, I'm going to say in the South, you would call it an enclosed porch, but it has full windows. So anyway, that is pretty much complete. We have a little bit of furniture that we got. Right now it has a ping pong table in it because the basement isn't done yet, where the ping pong table will go when it is done. So 3 Seasons room, deck. Then we had the landscaper in this week because the concrete guys got done a week or 2 ago, which it's all so beautiful. It's kind of coming together. Then we have the basement, and it's a work in progress. Are you getting the sense of the crazy I feel? And I'm just trying to give you a little blip here. It will be worth it when it's done. And just the other night, like Jeff and I were walking around a little bit, especially outside, just examining the new landscaping and the newly poured sort of patio, and I just had the moment that I get to stand there and look at this and how beautiful it is and go, I get to live here. This is our house. So I have those moments, and I try to hold on to those when I'm feeling very frustrated. As I'm sitting here talking to you, my craft room has double doors, like a double French doors with windows. And it looks onto what is supposed to be the dining room that is the storage area that I've been looking at for months. So, like I said, let's fingers crossed that everything is wrapped up this summer and all the storage can get put in the storage designated spaces, and I can get things more put together. So, move on to Crafty Coach Talk. And there's something I wanted to discuss with everybody a little bit. I've noticed it before. I feel like I'm noticing it more lately. And what it is, it'll be posts on Instagram. It'll be Flosstube videos. And people are showing their projects, sharing their progress, sharing a full finish, sharing a finish, whatever it is. And instead of it all being cheer or happiness or pride in what is being accomplished, there's a lot of what I consider self-deprecating comments that are added to everything. And I think one of the reasons that I am noticing it is Jeff and I have over the years talked about this, and because I do it too, I'm guilty, where it's almost like you feel like you're bragging too much, and so you have to add a little, well, it's not perfect, this is wrong, or even if you just say, well, here's my FFO, it's not perfect, but it's done. And that's the tone that I sense from it. And I want us all to stop doing that. It reduces the value we place ourselves on our own things. Do I sound like a coach? Like I said, I have talked with Jeff about this at length. And he's the one that, I'm going to say, coached me into stop doing that. And I'm not saying I don't have those thoughts that are in my head, and I may have even said things at times. But I try to let it play through my mind, and I try not to let it come out either through my fingers and typing or through my mouth and talking, because that gives the fun, the happiness, the pride, it negates it. And I don't want any of us to negate our accomplishments. This hobby is supposed to be fun and joy, right? So let's celebrate the joy. And I saw something else so I'm going to paraphrase it because it, I think, talked about quilts specifically. So I'm going to paraphrase it so that it spans all of our crafts. A finished project is a perfect project. Think about that. That was like, woo, to me when I read that. So let's remember that. We have accomplished whatever it is. And maybe it's not a fully finish. Maybe it's just a finish. And you're just proud that you got it done. And maybe you are I think the term is a process stitcher. So you're just all about doing the stitching, and it doesn't matter to you that you are, fully finishing things. Maybe what's good for you in your hobby and your joy is just the stitching itself. Celebrate that. I just had another thought of something that we all hear this frequently, and it's a lot of people who choose or have the most joy from stitching on just Aida. You hear that all the time. Or they downgrade their projects because it's stitched on Aida. Stop it. It does not matter. If you are having fun and you have joy from your projects, and let me tell you what, I see all kinds of stuff out there that is stitched on just, I don't even like using that word in this context, but even if it's stitched on Aida, it still looks beautiful. And you know what? Sometimes it's even more difficult to have stitched it on Aida because you have to rechart some parts of the project because it wasn't charted to fit on Aida. It was charted to fit on linen where you have multiple fabric threads that you're stitching over. So yay for you for making those extra efforts. The whole thing is we are out here to cheer ourselves and to cheer each other on and to celebrate what we're doing and to have joy in what we're doing. And that's what I hope that I can help all of us remember. So when you're posting on Instagram, you don't need to tell us, well, it's done, but it's not perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. And anyone who's been here before, you know, I have the perfectionist tendencies, but those tendencies I use to judge myself only. I would never judge anyone else's work on the standards I do to myself, which is not right. Well, it is because I should be kind to everyone, right? But I deserve the same kindness. So let's just celebrate, let's enjoy, and let's have some really great projects, okay? So let's remember that. A finished project is a perfect project. And the definition of finished can be anything you want it to be. So that's been Coach's Corner with Michelle. And I would like to move on to, I guess, sharing my stitching adventures, accomplishments, story, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. This video, I'm pretty much only going to talk about FFOs. And the reason for that is we're still in the middle of Mania, and we've gotten so far through Mania that I'm just going to do a video that summarizes all of my Mania stitching, okay? And I'll talk a little more about that a little bit. I want to talk about FFOs because I had a really big accomplishment since I last talked to you, and that's what I want to share today. Let's back up a little, just as a reminder, or for anyone new, to know that I am doing the FFO Challenge 2023. Jen from Two Tall Stitchers and I, she's also jenquilter on Instagram, and we started this at the beginning of 2023 as a way to help encourage each other and cheer each other on to get some of these finishes out of the drawer, out of the bin, wherever you're storing it, under the bed box. I have several places. Anyway, get these done, get them fully finished and able to see them. So I realized today when I wanted to talk about sort of the coach talk, the crafty coach talk, that the FFO challenge is really a big part of that. So, I don't know, I just think it's great. And you all continue to share using the hashtag over on Instagram. And oh my gosh, some of the things that I've seen lately are amazing. And even the projects that aren't, quote, amazing, because let's face it, anything you're getting out of the drawer that's been sitting there for a while, it's amazing. Let's get it done and get it out. But there have been some especially wow projects. And if you're not following the hashtag over on Instagram, go do that. So let me get you caught up to date with where I stand with my goals. So my original goal was I was trying to set myself up for success, and that was help from Jen to get me to, because I tend to set lofty goals and then I don't succeed, or I'm falling behind and then it just spirals and it makes it worse. So my original goal was 2 FFOs per month for the year. That would be 24 FFOs for the entire year. I also made a priority list of which projects I wanted to fully finish during the year. Now that list ended up being 33 projects. And so that's a little bit more than the 24, but I thought it was reasonable when I decided on those choices at the beginning of the year. As you may be able to guess at this point, I had a few more finishes that needed to be fully finished than 24 or even 33. So let's talk about where I stand now. I have 6 FFOs to share with you today. And so I am counting those in these numbers that I'm going to share right now. I am currently up to a total of 39 FFOs completed in 2023 so far. I have far and exceeded my goal for the year in less than half the year. Yay! So I'm really excited about that. That seems like a really great number. And then I try not to get a little discouraged when I then read what I'm down to in terms of finishes that are waiting to be FFO'd. That number is currently at 42, which is a little daunting still, but then I remind myself where I'm at. Remind myself where I started, and that number is really awesome. Now, I have a few days left in May, and I'd really love to sneak that, get that number down below 40. But I don't know if it'll happen, and I am not going to put pressure on myself because I'm doing so well. So we'll see where we get. Let's see. I already said I had 33 on that priority list at the beginning of the year, and I have completed 25 of those on that list. So I only have 8 left on my priority list that I want to see fully finished before 2023 ends. That is doable based on what I've done so far. Only 8 left. And just so we're clear, when I say I've done 39 FFOs for the year so far, there are a number of those that were smalls that I finished stitching in the year. So I did not have 39 plus 42 to start the year. I didn't have quite that many. So that is my current standings. I have 39 so far. I have 42 still waiting for full finishing. And I only have 8 left that I had placed on my priority list. So I'm pretty excited. And with that, that gives you the update on sort of the FFO Challenge 2023 for me this year. And there's hundreds on Instagram that people have shared. It's so wonderful. You can not only just let's marvel at all of these. If you go look at them, cheer everyone on, but also you can get so many cool ideas. All that FFO talk and coaching talk and construction talk. I haven't showed you anything yet. That is where we're going to head to next. The 6 FFOs I want to share with you are the remaining WordPlay from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread charts. So I have July through December to share with you today. So up first is July. I'll put a chart picture here. And I don't know if I'll run out of things to talk about as I'm showing these. So I'll work my way through here and hopefully I don't repeat too much. And here is the full finish on my perpetual calendar. This perpetual calendar is from Tractor Supply Company. I don't know if it still exists, and I don't know if you could ever, or if you can now, order it online. Jeff found it for me, oh gosh, a couple of years ago now, I think, at Tractor Supply at an actual location. So, sorry, I'll try not to make all that noise with my ring hitting the side of it. So this is July. All of these are stitched on 40 count ancient from Picture This Plus. That means I stitched them all one floss thread over 2 linen threads. I used pretty much all called for colors. Here and there, in particular the white, I probably made some substitutions just because whatever the called for white didn't show on my fabric very well. And otherwise, all the called for, which was like a mix of Gentle Arts and I think it was Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works. I think there was some of all of them in there throughout the series. Let's see. So that's what I stitched it on and how I stitched it. And then I'll talk a little more about the finishing as we go through them each. So then I don't repeat details 400 times. That would be really boring. This one is, I have this backer board is covered with a Tim Holtz fabric and Eclectic Elements. I remember that's, I'm pretty sure on here, but I don't know the name of this one or anything. But if you've seen some of these before, you know that I love Tim Holtz fabrics and the grunginess of them, the distressed nature. I just think they look really cool. So I am happy with how this turned out. I have to say, July is probably my least favorite of the months. The chart itself, I guess because part of it is not really representative of kind of what I think of in July. So I think that probably would make the most sense to me as an explanation. So I still wanted a complete series. So that is July. Up next is August wordplay. Here's the chart picture of this one. And I will show it to you on my perpetual calendar. Here is my finish. Like I said, there's the perpetual calendar. And I'll show you more up close here. And this one, same sort of stitching. And I have to say, the August design is not my typical, like, what I would normally choose to stitch and love. And I love this one. I love this lady. I love the color of her dress. I love I think these are supposed to be sunflowers and the little birds. I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed stitching this one. I really like it all finished. Now, each of these I backed my stitching with interfacing, iron-on interfacing. And so that would stabilize the stitching and everything. And then you'll see on every single one of them, I have hand stitced, and these are back stitched all the way around. And I, why am I at a loss for words here? I sewed them with a back stitch to a piece of inexpensive craft felt that is sort of this fabric color. It's all kind of mottled in tan or beige or whatever color you want to call it. Again, it kind of gives it a little loft that you would normally get from batting. Also, I thought it would help stabilize it. So that's sewed together, and then I trimmed out, I counted my fabric threads, and because this is 40 count, I counted out 20 threads and cut my fabric or trimmed it, and then I pulled all the threads to create my fringe. And that is the stitching piece all done. Then I used double-sided tape for everything to put these together, except for gluing the washers on the back of this piece. And so it's just stuck with double-sided tape onto the fabric backing board. All right, this one is backed with a piece of basic gray fabric. Again, one of my favorites, if not my favorite, fabric designer. This is from Nutmeg collection, which I think, was it last fall that it came out? That sounds about right. I can't remember for sure. It's been out for a little while. So I like the colors. I think the colors worked really well, and you can see a couple of the cute little birds in there, which look at how they match the birds that I stitched. So I'm really happy with that. That is August. My next one is September, which I've got the chart picture up there for you to see. And see, I'm not very good with filling time when I'm not talking about details. All right, let's see my fill finish. Here is September. I love this one. Okay, and well, fall is my very favorite season, period, for stitching, for just life in general. And September is probably one of my favorite months, maybe my favorite month. And I'm gonna say that's probably because there are 3 birthdays in our house in September. Not to mention, I could bore you with, I don't even know how many in extended families, that September apparently was a popular month for both Jeff's family and my family. And actually, we could have 4 of the 5 of us have September birthdays if our Vivian hadn't decided to be born prematurely at 26 and a half weeks. So her due date was September. Anyway, this is September. Again, stitched, called for colors, except for maybe substituting some white, and finished with the same fringe edge. 40 count ancient from Picture This Plus. That means I stitched 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads. And my backer fabric here is a Tim Holtz. And I can't remember if his whole fabric line is eclectic elements. I'm not sure. It's obviously rulers. Is that perfect for a school-themed September stitch? I think maybe. So I'm really happy with how it looks. And like I said, I love September. I love this stitch. I think it's so cute. I love the chalkboard and the words and the colors and everything about it. So that is September. Up next is October. And here is a chart picture for you to see. Again, I'll repeat that these are all from Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. So here's my finish for October. Again, love this one. Love the colors, love the cute little motifs and everything about it. Called for colors, it's stitched with on 40 count ancient. Picture This Plus. And I don't know if I ever told you, so I ordered ancient Picture This Plus when I found it for another project. And then I had requested it from someone, and So I found some, just, I don't even remember who was selling it or had it available online. And I bought a fat half, I think. And again, it was for another project. And then my request came in, and did I want it? Well, yes. So I had a big bunch of, this big piece of ancient, and I was able to do all 12 of these out of that fat half, and that's why I chose this. So, and I think it looks really great. The backing fabric on this one is a Tim Holtz. It is Eclectic Elements. And it might have like a Halloween name too, that this one was part of. I can't remember for sure. I bought it at Fat Quarter Shop, and I'm 90% sure that it's still available online at Fat Quarter Shop if you like it. So you can see there's like distressing and grunginess in it, and I love the design of the fabric. So just perfect for the October wordplay. But yeah, so that is October. All right, up next is November, and we're in the home stretch now. Here's the chart picture for you to see what that looks like. And again, I really like this one. These fall colors. Here is my finish. I'll hold the calendar back for a minute here so you can see a little bit more. And then here is more close up. I apologize if I've been extra wobbly with this. This perpetual calendar is kind of heavy, but I think I can muscle through because I just have this one in December left to show you how it looks all together. So I'm gonna keep holding it up here. So this is November. Love the colors. Oh my gosh, I love this little turkey on here. It's so cute. And so my backer fabric on this one is, again, Tim Holtz, and it's Eclectic Elements. And I don't know, I think it looks really good with November without being like a lot of the fabrics that I was finding or looking at or had in my collection, because I did pull a couple from my collection, but I also ordered some because some things just didn't fit or didn't have a fit, I should say, from what I have in my collection. And everything that I looked at that maybe had some more orange to it or a rust or whatever, it just felt a little too Halloween looking, and I wanted just, November and fall looking fabric. And I love this piece. And actually, anyone that has been around for a while, earlier this year, and if you want me to tell you which Flosstube episode, I'll be happy to let you know. Just drop me a message and I'll tell you which one specifically. I made a really cool project or a stitch for Jeff that he took to his office, and this is the fabric I used in that framing project also. It was Hello from Liz Matthews, and it was Hocus Pocus was the chart name. And so it just says it's all a bunch of hocus pocus, and Jeff wanted that in his office. Yeah. Okay, CPAs can have a sense of humor. We're not all stuffy and serious all the time. Anyway, that was a sidebar. This is November. That's the backing fabric. All the same treatment for getting through these. And again, I love this one. Love it, love it, love it. That is November. And here is the final word play. I have them all 12 done. Yay! This is December. Chart picture showing. Celebrating a little bit early. Let me show you everything and then I'll celebrate. Here is my finish of December. And this is stitched the same as everything else. I love the little Santa and I love the words on here and the reindeer and the trees and the snowflakes. Love everything about this one. Love the colors. I backed this one on, it's a Tim Holtz fabric. Oh, and I'm drawing a blank. Is the fabric line called Christmas Time? It's something like that. And this may still be available on Fat Quarter Shop. I mean, that's where I got it. You may find it other places too. But I don't know, I really liked it. I thought it was a good choice for the Christmas one. I love this whole line of fabrics. They're so vintagey. And I'll reference a previous FFO that I shared, which, if you remember, was the throw pillow that I made out of the sweatshirt that had the Santa face stitched on it that had been my mom's, and she had done the stitching of the Santa face. And I used this line of fabrics to make a patchwork, I'll call it a frame or border around the Santa face that I created the pillow out of the sweatshirt. I just love the vintage feel of these. And that really makes me think of Christmas with my mom and reminds me of that. It's just, I don't know, something about the colors and the feel and whatever. It's vintage. Some of us are vintage now. Did I tell you my birthday was in September? I think I did. It's a big one this year. We'll have to talk about that in the coming few weeks. I gotta decide what to do about it. Anyway, enough about me being vintage. This is December. And that wraps up all 6 of the FFOs I'm sharing this time. A little mini parade of all 12 of the word plays. I am going to start the parade by showing you the unadorned, naked, perpetual calendar. So you can see this is a chalkboard. This whole thing is metal. So here are my magnets, and I put some extras on there because extra hold power, and they're loose. So I can move them around and easily. I didn't have to worry about where I placed the washers that I glued on the back of my projects. I felt pretty smart when I figured that out. It's the little things in life. What can I say? So that is the calendar and the magnets that I'm using. And I'll show you how these look on the back too. Here on the first one. So my backer board is just a piece of sticky board, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. You're probably all yelling at me right now. It's the sticky board. So the fabric is I didn't put any batting or anything on that, and so the fabric just is stuck on that sticky side of the board. And then I wrapped it to the back with double-sided tape and adhered it down. This is just a piece of cardstock that I trimmed down to fit, to cover all the mess. That is stuck down with double-sided tape. And then I just have these washers that I glued, and let me pause for a second and I'll show you what I have. Okay, these are the washers that I'm using. I'm gonna hold that up there. You can take a screenshot if you'd like. And these are from Home Depot. Jeff picked them up for me. And they are zinc, so make sure they're magnetic. I've heard of people that have a problem that they get washers and they're not magnetic. And this box of 100 is like, I don't even know, $2.50 or something. It's not very much at all. So, and these are fairly big and have a fairly small center hole, so you have a lot of space for the magnets to magnetize to. So that is the washers that I use. And then I stuck those on with E6000. And for anyone that doesn't know or hasn't heard of it or doesn't know what it looks like, where do you buy this? Michael's? I have no idea where I got it from. I might have ordered it on Amazon. I don't know. It might be a Home Depot too. I can't remember for sure, but I know there's lots of places you can find it. So if you just search it up, Google it, whatever. So that's my back. So these are glued with E6000. Everything else I used double-sided tape. And because I'm not so much one that loves glue, it's too messy for me and I have a hard time with that. So I know my limitations, and messy glue is one of those limitations. I choose to use double-sided tape. Now, sometimes it gives me headaches and I think, you know, glue would probably be easier at this point, but I know I don't like the mess. So, all right. The other thing I wanted to show you is something I think is kind of genius. The magnets, if you notice, they were black, and so they kind of can rub off on my fingers sometimes, and I was worried that there would be sort of residue left on the washers, and I didn't want that to get smeared on my finished WordPlays, and I keep them in a box. Well, check this out. They fit perfectly in a page protector. Yes. So I feel like, oh, okay, so that keeps everything protected. The only thing I need to be careful about is make sure my fringe isn't all wonky, because, you know, if you get it packed away for 12 months and it's real wonky, I don't know if straightening it out would be very easy. Not that it needs to be perfectly straight, it's fringe, but you get my point, I think. All right, so, and like I said, I just have a box that they fit in. I may find a drawer or some convenient location for them at some point. For now, that's where they're at. And each in their own individual page protector. So let's do the parade fun part now. This is January. Love the snowman and everything about this one. And the fabric is a Tim Holtz fabric from that Christmas, vintagey Christmas line of fabrics. So that is January. And forgive me for taking just a little bit of time here. I'm going to slip them in their page protector. Again, I don't want to take the risk of getting smears on my finished stitching, especially after finally fully finishing these. You guys, that's why I had to do this in May. I had to finally go, all right, Michelle, you just have to get these done. And so I worked on them throughout this month and did sort of an assembly line in terms of, like, I did a lot of the same things 6 times. So I sewed them all together individually, and then I did all the fringe, and then I cut fabric for the boards and lined it up and and then worked my way through getting that all attached. And it was a process. And Jen of Two Tall Stitchers has teased me that when I was working on stitching these, she recommended way back then, you might want to be fully finishing while you're stitching these. And I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I'll just do all 12 of them at once, because won't that be easier to do all of them at one time? It might have been easier, but oh my gosh, it's just overwhelming. So I am so excited. All are done. Here is February. This one is backed on a Tim Holtz fabric, and it is actually out of that vintagey Christmas line again. Love, love, love this fabric. And I love February. Love the reds and everything. It's so sweet. So that's February. And again, give me just a second here to slide that in to its page protector. Right, let's protect that work. Up next is March. This is on a basic gray grunge basics, and oh, I think it's called Grunge Hits the Spot, these polka dotted ones. And this one, it's actually, I don't know if it's showing in the video, it is a metallic gold polka dot. So quite literal translation of sort of March celebratory items. But that's why I like it. And I love green, and I love me some basic gray. So I'm real happy with this one too. Maybe I don't need to say that for each one of them, that I'm real happy with it, because I would say that every single time. I'm just, you guys, seriously, this felt like such a big project once I finally got working on it and getting it done, and I'm just so excited to have it done. This is April. And let's see, the backing fabric is Tim Holtz. It might be Eclectic Elements, but don't quote me on that one. I cannot remember. I should probably have written all these down. If you have a specific question about any of the fabrics that I didn't give quite enough detail, let me know. And I'll be happy to look it up for you. Because I think, yeah, it would be a fairly quick look for me. So that's April. Love this fabric with April. I think it just, I don't know. I really had fun picking the fabrics for each of these, and I'm just really tickled with how they all look too, now that they're done. Here is May. Now this is a Kathy Holden fabric. Trying to remember the name of the line. I'm not gonna remember. I'm not gonna remember. It is a fairly recent release, and if you look carefully, you can see it's like a needle point print, the flowers. So I love that. Love these colors and everything. So like I said, it's Kathy Holden. I just can't remember the name of the line of fabrics that it came from. So that is May, which we are still in. So that'll go back up here where my calendar has been sitting. And then June. And this fabric, I'm not gonna be able to tell you at all who it is or what it is. think I included it in another video. I don't know. If you're dying to know what fabric it is, let me know. But I just love the stars, and I think it looks so good with this June stitch with the little flag that the lady's holding her girl, and I don't know, I just really liked it. So happy with that one. All right, so those are my previous ones. I'll do a quick show of the 6 that I showed you already today. Here's July. That way we can treat it like a true parade. Just a reminder, this is Tim Holtz fabric. So that's July. Here is August. This is Basic Gray from the Nutmeg collection. Love that. Love the coordinating birds. So cute. And as I'm showing these, I'll tell you one more time, 40 count ancient from Picture This Plus, stitched 1 floss thread over 2 linen threads. And mostly all called for flosses for all of these. And this one is on Tim Holtz fabric, September. And let's see, let's move on to October. This is a Tim Holtz fabric in a Halloween collection. Eclectic Elements, I believe is the name of it. And love it. One thing about the called for flosses, these call for a lot of colors. And if I were to plan out this project again, I would probably go through and use DMC conversions for a lot of the stitching. Now, the words all pretty much use 2 colors. You can see, well, I don't know if you can see it on that one. No, because I don't think there's, so those I would splurge on the fancy floss because I like the variegation that it gave. And then some of the oranges maybe when it's used in a bigger section, or like, you know, the blacks where you can see. But for a lot of it, you could definitely just use DMCs and it would be fine, because just a few stitches here and there on a lot of the colors. So that's what I would do if I had it to do over again. I will not be stitching these over again, however. Here is November. And this is also a Tim Holtz fabric. I believe it's Eclectic Elements, but not 100% sure on that one. Don't you love that turkey? Love. And here it is, December. They are done. Cue the air horns. Cue the celebration music. Ah, they're done, done, done. Now I can just display them. How's that? Okay, so I mentioned Mother's Day a little earlier, and I said that I wanted to share a little bit about Mother's Day. So, like I said, it was pretty quiet, and we just hung out. But I wanted to show you one of my gifts that let's be honest, I picked it out. But Mitchell got it for me, and I love it. So I wanted to share it in case anyone else was interested. So it is this tote bag, and you can see it's monogrammed with sewn on. This is just at Amazon, and it was not very expensive. It has a long handle on it so I can, you know, put it over my shoulder to carry it or whatever. And then here, check this out. Project bags fit in there perfectly. And there's quite a few in here. The other thing it has is a pocket on the side so I can put my water bottle. Love that. So anyway, that is one of my Mother's Day gifts. And I would like to take a moment to point out that the M can be used for either Michelle or it can be standing for Mom. So I was joking around that I need, like, you know, little charms or keychains or something. One that says Michelle and one that says Mom on the handles. I thought that would be fun. And then I wanted to show you a piece of Happy Mail that I got. And it's just so lovely. So I wanted to share it. And it came from Lisa. She is littleanniez on Flosstube. And I'll put a link to her down below, or tag her down below. And she sent me this cute little card with a lovely, lovely note on the back. And I feel like this needs a little background for anyone that doesn't remember or hasn't heard it before. So I know that we've talked before, and this goes really well with me talking about the coaching pep talk that I did earlier. So I don't like to use the word stash for my collection. I like to use the word collection, and I heard it originally from Sherry, Colorado cross stitcher. And I love that word because I think that elevates the value placed on this hobby. And stitching itself is a hobby. Collecting is a part of the hobby. And so I like to use, I'll call them elevated words or elevated value, valuable words, because this is valuable to me. It's joy, and you can't really measure your joy, I guess, but you can definitely make it feel more valuable, right? With the right words. So I like to use the word collection for everything, that I collect things instead of calling it stash. And if you like the word stash, you use it. If it brings you joy, you use it. I'm just saying what works for me. Well, Lisa likes that word. The other phrase that she really likes, and I have to thank Jeff for this, is he started calling my fabric collection my fabric library, that I needed to go to the fabric library to make choices. And sometime I'll have to show that to you. So Lisa wrote me this lovely note, and we've talked about this before, but how much she appreciates just that choice of phrasing, collection and fabric library. And it came in this cute, little wrapping of a bag in the package. And then it's in this little velvet pouch. And let's see. I think if I hold my hand up, you'll be able to see it. So it is, you can use it as a scissor fob or floss bling. I don't use floss bling. I could probably use it as a zipper pull or a scissor fob. It says needlework on one side, and on the other side is the Dewey Decimal System call number for needlework. Isn't that cool? Thank you so much, Lisa. It was so thoughtful of you to share this with me, and I love it. I just have to find the right special place for it, but isn't that cool? So now we have our needlework library call tag for our collection and our fabric libraries. So I thought that was fun to share. And I think I said it, but I'll say it again. Thank you so much for thinking of me, Lisa. And then I want to share one more project with you that is an ongoing collecting is going on to get to the project. Now, Jeff and I will celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary in the year 2025. We got married in January of 2000. And I discovered when I got back to cross stitch the heart and hand collector hearts. And let me show you the most recent one because I have it right here. So this is this year's, the 2023 collector's heart. Now, I started picking these up, like I said, when I got back into cross stitch. So I'm gonna say that would have been 2021, I think. And I bought some older ones because I just really liked them. Well, that leads me to, at some point here, I decided I wanted to do this project as a celebration of our 25th anniversary, which, and because I love all these collector hearts, and I could put the corresponding year that they came out for each year to celebrate each year of our marriage. Okay, all that being said, I have collected all of these. Oh, well, and my plan is I'm going to stitch each of them individually. If you remember, all of them come with fabric and embellishments. This year's actually came with the floss too. But so I plan to stitch them all on the kitted fabric. And then I'm going to put them together in some sort of like a patchwork or quilt type full finish to put it all together. And then we can hang it up. So it'll be like a really big sampler looking piece, but pieced together. I'm very excited. I have been working on collecting all of these so that I can get 2000 through, eventually get to 2025 to put them all together. And as you can guess, some of them are harder to find than others. I have stalked eBay. I watched the stash unload groups for them. I have every one of these from, actually, I found one on eBay for $19.99 until 2023, except one. I am currently missing, I want to make sure I say the right year, 2006. So I'm going to ask a favor. If anyone knows of where I can find 2006, and in a perfect world, it will be the actual kit because I would like the fabric that it was, put together with. If I have to have just the chart, I can work with that. So 2006 Heart and Hand Collector Heart is what I'm looking for because, as I said, let me turn this around. Here is my Collector Heart project bag, and it has all of them in it. Now, the other thing is, I think that these started in 1998, which is the year Jeff and I met. And if I could find 1998, I would also love that. So if you have any suggestions, I would be so happy to hear them. And that will be a project that I need to get started on probably in 2024. I'll work on getting some more stuff done this year first. And let's see. So to wrap up, I'll just talk about my plans. I think that I already mentioned that I plan to do a video that will wrap up all of my Stitch Mania stitching. So as of today, I think I'm working on project number 9 of 10. And so I have one more project, and it's a new start that I'll work on. And then I'll get a video together of all 10, which actually turned into 11 projects because one I just couldn't not start. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen that. But so I'm gonna finish my Stitch Mania stitching and then put a video together to show you sort of a whip parade of what I have going on or how far I got with everything. And I can talk then about what my sort of next plans are. The other thing that I may try to work on, we'll see kind of timing what else is going on, is maybe I can sneak in a couple more FFOs. Remember, I have 42 outstanding finishes that need to be FFO'd, and I'd really love to get that number below 40. So that would mean I need to get 3 done before the end of the month. I don't know, we'll see. It's May, remember, it's crazy. All right, with that, I'm just kind of glancing around. That covers what I had in mind today, and I thought I wouldn't have that much to talk about, but I got so excited and passionate about coaching all of us and to be more positive about our projects that I talked a little extra. So remember, a finished project is a perfect project, and you cannot share your progress or accomplishments too much. And don't ever apologize for sharing it too much either, because you can't do it. It's impossible. So just be proud of what you're doing and find your joy and stick with it. All right, that is it. That's my cheering. Oh, one more cheer for having WordPlays done. Yeah! I'll cheer myself. And I'll cheer for you for doing whatever you want to do. And I hope that I helped share some extra kindness and love today that you can carry through with your own projects and use for yourself. We all need to be more kind and more loving to ourselves. With that, I am going to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I will talk to you soon.